Welcome to the Zia Studio Buzz podcast, episode
42.
My name is Doc, and this is a podcast about knitting and lots of yarny stuff. And I am so excited to have a friend with me today because I have a guest from Germany, my old friend. I mean, old in terms of an old friendship, Doris.
Yes, hi. I'm Doris from Germany, from Hamburg in the northern part, and I join today the podcast from Doc.
Yes. The funny thing is that Doris has visited me quite a bit throughout the years since I've moved to America after my wedding to my husband, who is American. And Doris usually knits. Maybe you want to tell them.
I never or very seldom I knit in Germany. Mostly I come here in Albuquerque and I start to knitting with Dagmar. And when I go back to Germany, it stops. So I have to wait until next year, then I make my next project. Yes, today.
It's funny. Yes.
But I knit something for you today. Okay,
Yes.
we tell later.
Yeah. I wanted to start with the projects that I have finished on my vacation, on my trip, on my last one. And you all probably guessed it. Oh gosh, I have such trouble. I wish I could style it as beautifully as Melanie Berg. So this is a Melanie Berg pattern, and it's called Rainshadow. And
It's really nice. I love it.
Yeah, I love it too. It turned out so perfectly. I love everything about it. It was a really fun project. It was just enough challenge from time to time where it kept your interest, and it was with the lace, and I'm going to take it off so you can see, and there's lacy stripes in it where you have to do the lace pattern. And of course, I mean, that keeps you want to get to the next lace, and then you work on it for a few rows, and then you're done with it. I have to say, so one thing about the lace is I was a little bit nervous because you know how lace usually, I mean, most of the time, lace is done on the right side, and then on the wrong side, you just purl back or you knit however the stitches appear. But with this one, in the lace section, you had pattern on both rows all the time. But it was fine. It was fine. Not too challenging. Yeah. And I worked this on 3.5 millimeter needles in a Zia Wool's yarn, and the yarn is called Sugarloaf, and the pink was a custom dyed yarn for Debbie of the Periscoping Sisters. She wanted to make a sweater in pink, and I dyed 2 variations, and I think she picked the brighter pink one, more fuchsia one, and this was a little more berry. Still gorgeous. So that's one of the skeins, the pink, a one of a kind. And the other color is my new favorite that I was going on and on about last time. It's a new colorway of mine that I was so excited when I came out with it. It's called Desert Flower because it reminds me so much of the desert. It's kind of like these faded colors, muted, and then when you look closely, you see all the gorgeous colors. And that's how the desert is for me, you know?
I
Kind
like
of,
it. So
yeah. Yeah,
it's light colors.
yeah,
You have a light green and brown and purple
yeah,
and in different shades.
yeah,
So I like it too.
yeah. And the
So,
pink really did
yeah.
worked well with it. Yeah. I used a whole skein of the sugarloaf for the first section of the pink. And this is what I have left of the desert flower. I haven't weighed it, but sugarloaf is a very generous light fingering that has 560 yards per 4 ounces, and so it goes a long way, but not quite long enough for this one. So when I got back from the vacation, I had knitted up everything, the pink skein and the desert flower, and I thought I'll just see and play it by ear. When I'm back, I was digging in the stash and I did not find anything in the same yarn quality in sugarloaf to where I thought it wouldn't be a real break to finish the shawl with. It was just for this stripe in the very end. So I dyed up some more yarn, and if you compare them, you can see that the new one is a lot more fuchsia. This is more berry, but I think it still works. It's fine. It doesn't bother me one bit, and I'm happy the way it looks like. I was, after washing it, and I laid it out on my son's bed. You're don't say poor boy, because he moved out. So don't worry. I did not take up his bed, and he couldn't sleep, or I had to sleep on the sofa. No, all good. But I laid it out and it went on the whole length of the bed, and then I had to flip it over just at the end to make it fit, because it's a shallow and wide shawl. Yeah. So keeps going, keeps going and going and going. Thank you. Yeah. And that's about it. And if you like it, you should think about making it, because Melanie Berg's patterns, you probably know, they're also well written and really fun to make, and she knows how to style them too. Me, not so much. But whatever. I just spend a lot of time in front of the mirror to have it look like it's supposed to look, whatever. Okay, I have another thing finished, and you're gonna say, please don't show us these old socks again. Yes, but it's the old socks. It's the same old socks that I've been working on for months now. But hallelujah, they are done. Well, except for the ends that, as usual, I have not woven in. This also is a Zia Wool's yarn. It's called Sandia. It's a merino sock yarn, merino superwash merino nylon blend, and it's my preferred sock yarn. No, I shouldn't say that. I think my favorite Zia Wool sock yarn is Taos, which is a superwash Corriedale, but this is the merino that I really like for socks. It's a little plumper, not like the yarn that Doris will be showing that she's making her project with, and so that's what I like about this yarn. It's not something that I would so much use for a shawl, just because it's a little firmer. Wow, it's windy today. I hope you don't hear that too much. Yesterday we had some guys at the neighbor's yard working with cutting tile. It was incredibly noisy, and we recorded the German podcast, and it was It was crazy because we had to stop in between and I had to edit the podcast with the noise in the background. But today it's the wind. And we have Balloon Fiesta right now.
Okay.
And there were no balloons going up today. But in the morning you could not tell why. You know, sometimes either it rains or you have winds and that's why they can't go up. But I'm thinking probably they were expecting the wind and a little bit of storm, and that's why they just wanted to be on the safe side. If my friend Kathy was here, who I'm saying hi to right now, Kathy is my dear rock hooking friend and rock hooking fantastic teacher, and Kathy is the one who's going up with balloons and helping and working every day with Balloon Fiesta, and so she could tell us probably. We can probably ask her soon and ask what was going on. She can tell us. She's there every day this whole week right now. What did she say?
She get up at 3:45 every
Oh my
morning, and she
gosh.
has to work very hard
Yeah,
with these balloons.
yeah, that's crazy.
But
Yes,
tomorrow morning we go to the balloon festival.
Yes.
Fiesta.
unless
So-
it's stormy, because then I'm gonna peek out and I'm gonna go back to bed, Doris.
I want to see
Sorry.
it. Tomorrow is the last day for me. It's
What's
on-
Saturday?
Oh, okay.
Tomorrow's going to be the special shapes where they have like Darth Vader and
Sunflowers.
sunflowers.
Ah, we
yeah,
live
that's
our
everybody's
life together.
favorite. Yeah, and what else? Like
A German Brandenburger Tor.
yes,
and,
a giant locomotive.
Ah.
And yeah, it's really fun. Yeah,
And-
Friday special shapes. Yeah, so
It's
that
so
would be
fun.
nice.
Yeah, yeah,
Hopefully
yeah.
we're done with the wind. I think so.
Yeah. The podcast is the broadcast says tomorrow it's sun.
Really?
Really. But I don't
Okay.
know. It's my
Well, good. Yeah,
From
sunny is
Germany.
fine. Today is
Yeah.
sunny too, but just
yeah
not
without wind.
just windy. Yeah, let's hope it
Without-
works out.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So how did I get from the socks to Balloon Fiesta? I have no idea. But just
Because of Kathy.
Oh,
She's on the
Kathy,
balloon
yes.
fiesta every day.
yes, that's right. Because it started blowing all of a sudden. That's right. Yes.
yeah.
Yes, but I will not bore you any longer with my socks. Just the final thing, the yarn is Sandia, Zero Sandia. I knit my socks on DPNs pretty much all the time, and I used the colorway Prom. I think I came up with that 2 years ago, last year or 2 years ago, I'm not sure. I just love the colors. Pink, bright green. Yep. And I promise I will weave in the ends, but I will spare you seeing these one more time just because the ends are woven in. We're gonna pretend that they're completely done. Okay. So that is my finished object. And you know what I'm thinking, Doris? I'm gonna talk about my lace shawl first, and then I'm gonna let them tell you
Okay.
about your project. Because you may remember that I was talking about the choice of yarn for my Meristem shawl. It is a lace shawl that lives in this beautiful fairy tale bag. And I am using this gorgeous green, which was a gift from my dear friend Disu. Beautiful, beautiful color, beautiful hedgehog sock yarn. Oops, shouldn't be covering. And the colorway is called Skinny Dip. And I am currently on the still on the first ball of yarn, which is kind of surprising because I decided to make the yarn, the pattern gives you 2 sizes as options. And I thought I wasn't going to have enough yarn to make the large size. But I think I would have. Well, whatever. It is what it is. I'm not going to rip it back again. But this is where this is what I have left from the first ball. And this is where I am. And you may remember, and that's why I said I'm going to show this one first, because I had two greens that I wanted to use Zierwool's green first. And then I thought, no, I've had the yarn from Dizou in my stash for so long that I love this color, so I wanted to use this one first. And we can do a comparison in a moment to show you both greens right next to each other. But here's the shawl. So this is the back center, the upper edge center, and it will have a round, what's the word? Curve on the bottom, and the shape, who knows, right? What the word is. I just love the pattern. And it's really easy to work, even though you cannot use markers to divide up your pattern repeats. I talked about that in the last episode, or no, 2 episodes back, because I got so confused. I thought I was going to be able to do that, and then it didn't work out. Stitch count drove me crazy. Now I'm not using them, and it's fine, because you see everything so clearly, and there's not too much going on. So if you miss a yarn over, you see it right away. So that's really easy. I would not call this beginner friendly, but if you want to tackle a first lace project, I think this is doable. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and I am using Haya sharpened needles, I think, in size 3.5 millimeters. And now let's look at Doris's green. This is really a very minty green, and look at Doris's next to it. Bright green. Oh my gosh, every time I put these next to each other, I am so surprised how different, because they have totally the same value. None of them is darker or anything than the other, but still so insanely different. So much more yellow in this one. Yes, and Doris, tell us about it.
Yeah, I arrived last week and I'm looking for a new project for me, and I have the feeling I looked through hundreds of magazines with pattern of knitting, but I can't find anything. So Dagmar asked me if I can knit a shawl for her, and until now it was a very, very easy one to knit. So it's like,
did you say the pattern name? No.
No,
I don't think so.
no. It's from Martina Behn, and I started with a little triangle, and it was purled right, and then I close it.
You knit all the time. That's the cool thing.
Yeah.
You only see the purl stitches here because it's garter. That's what it's called.
Yeah. And then it's like a meditation. You only have to knit.
Stockinette. That's what it's called. Glattrechts.
Stockinette.
Glattrechts.
Okay.
Stockinette. Yeah.
Stockinette. All the time I have only to read the pattern from. This is like this. So, and there you can see the ready shawl. And now I'm on this side where this little pattern is, and I have to watch it very carefully so I don't make a mistake.
I think it's going to be fine. I think
Yeah,
you're
but-
going to be fine.
Yeah, it's the first
But
row.
because you
and
just started, yeah.
yeah, and I have to count, but I guess it will easier as much I go further.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and the yarn is from Seawolves. You made it. You painted, dyed it.
Mm-hmm.
You see, here is.
It's a Sundancer. It has 465 yards.
Yep. And the color is green apple, right?
Apple, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
That's it.
And just so you know why people say get the same dye lot.
I start. What?
It's called a different dye
Ja,
lot.
ja, ja. Okay.
Wie heißt es denn auf Deutsch? Jetzt fällt es mir auf Deutsch nicht ein.
Kleiner Unterschied.
Nee, die diese Farblot
Palette,
oder so.
ja,
Nee,
ja,
der
ja.
Lot oder so.
Okay,
Whatever. Never mind
So-
me speaking German.
Yeah. I start with the needle of 3
Millimeters?
millimeters, and
Yeah.
then I change to 3.5.
Yeah, I never know what that is in US. Sorry, guys. Yeah. But but what I meant to say, I hope you saw that. Doris had, I had dyed 2 balls of yarn initially because I wanted to make the Meristem with that. So that's what Doris had to make the Via Hante. And but then, of course, the Via Hante needs more yardage. So we had to dye another ball of yarn, and it's a different dye bath, a different dye lot, and it's really a difference. You can totally tell there's
Yeah.
a line.
So you can wear it like this one. You have different ways to wear it, and you can take it over your head, and yeah, we will see.
You can wear it like a cowl or even put it up over your head. And Martina, a lot of you guys probably know the pattern because this has been out for a very long time. In fact, I wanted to make it out of out of the sugar loaf a few years ago, but I didn't like it in the sugar loaf. I don't know what it finally was. Then I used the yarn for a sweater. Good too.
But you will see it in Dagmar's shop when it's finished, and
Yeah.
okay, I guess next week or tomorrow.
I hope maybe we can record.
Uh-huh.
Sorry. This is a very fragile construction. So if you're a little wiggly and you kick this table that the camera is on, then you guys shake. You can shake it up. Yeah. So, what was I gonna say? Oh yes, I'm hoping we can record one more podcast together before you leave. You
Really?
think so?
I don't know.
Okay, let's
Okay.
try. Let's knit.
Oh.
Well, the thing is, we sit together, we talk a lot, and it's all the time when Doris visits. Oh no, you lost stitches. Every time when Doris is here, we just spend a lot of time crafting together. It's not so much. I mean, we go do things like balloon fiesta and maybe go on a little trip somewhere. We've been to Santa Fe, not this year, other times, but then with the chatting, you sit and knit, or we've also sewn together. But that's why maybe I'm thinking that maybe we are doing more than. I mean, there's more knitting happening because I don't want to be here and show you like that I've knitted 5 rows on my sweater or something. That's boring. Okay. Good.
So, and this weekend we have time. Her husband went or goes with her daughter
College
to
visits, yeah.
college visits. We are alone. We can talk a lot. We're sitting on the couch and
Yes,
chit
very
chat.
lazy.
And-
Lots of food. Good food.
But we jog this morning
Yes.
up in the hills, and so we don't feel so sad about the eating.
Yeah, yeah,
Sneaking.
yeah.
Yeah.
We went on the trails. Yeah,
Yeah.
we've been good. Yeah, and Saturday we have all the knitters coming over, so
Yeah.
that's going to be really nice. We're going to get together here, and not sure how much knitting is going to be happening because we already said we plan kind of like more a party event, because here in the studio in the garage where I dye the yarn, that's it's just perfect for as a party room. You set up the drinks, and there's a fridge out here, and you can blast some music and pretend you're still 25, stuff like that.
And we dance.
And we dance.
And we dance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, on back to knitting. It's so easy to
Okay.
get distracted, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So I have my other project here, which I have shown you, but it is, oh my goodness, I have not told you about the Meristem shawl, the drama of the vacation. And that's what brings me, I still have to find the best English translation for the title. But when I was away on my vacation that I told you about, I ran out of knitting. I finished the socks. I finished the shawl. I mean, I knitted up all the yarn, and then for the Meristem, I had not read the pattern before I left, and I had only 14 rows that I could knit with the needle size that I had brought, which stressed me out to no end. I mean, let's just have a realistic look at this. I had one more day, but 14 rows, and I was flying home. I had a long trip home, so that stressed me out. But guys, there's no yarn stores in San Juan, Puerto Rico, so I checked. There was no craft store either. So I think when people do needlework, they do more crochet. I think that's for some reason. I don't know why. I didn't ask anybody or so. But so that's the thing. So I had to doze my last 14 rows. I mean, I had to take good care on how I made those last 14 rows. But the funny thing is that with the Meristem, in the end, when I looked at the pattern closely later, I realized that in those, I missed the 5mm needles. I was supposed to switch. I was supposed to knit 14 rows, and then I was supposed to switch to 5mm needles, so a whole needle size up. I mean, a whole millimeter needle size up. And I guess I knit the shawl in 4mm needles and not 3.5. Yeah, I just realized that because I go from 4 to 5. But and at the same time, there's maybe 18 more rows that I have to work now. But it's so crazy because you also increase the stitch count in that last bit, however much it's going to be. You increase the stitch count by something crazy like 400 stitches. So I have to, before I get back to that, I will have to take a close look at the pattern, a close look at the chart, and I'm going to have to see if maybe either I finish it with the same needle size after all, or if I skip a few yarn overs. Do some less yarn overs or so, but figure it out so it's of course evenly all the way across. Because the reason why I'm thinking is that I just wouldn't want a very ruffly, ruchy edge. That's just not me. I don't know. I'll see. I'll keep you posted. Okay, and the sweater I was going to tell you about is the sweater that I was working on before I left on the trip, and it is living in my beautiful Nanette Wake Studio bag made from hand woven fabric. And excuse me. And I had finished the back. It is the sweater fog color. I'm sorry, I should tell you what I show you, right? You want to know. So this is the sweater. And I had to modify some stuff. It was a little tricky in the beginning because I didn't get gauge, but I was determined to use hand spun yarn. And this yarn specifically, I dyed the fibers specifically for this sweater because I love the way it looked like in the picture, the off-white, natural white, but I didn't want to knit with white. That was just a little bit too boring for me. Sorry. But I thought, well, I'm doing it in this pale glacier agua, so I dyed. So what I used, the fiber, it is Rambouillet as New Mexico as it gets. I picked it up from a local farm in the east of the state, and I sent it off to be processed and cleaned actually at Zeilinger's in Michigan, whom I love. I love working with them. And then I dyed the fibers and I spun them. And this is what the back of the sweater looks like. And because it was not dyed a solid agua color, that's why, of course, it looks a little bit stripy. And hey, my beautiful, most amazing favorite project marker from my friend Melody. I love it so much. Do you even know how that is done, Doris? It is so cool. These are called Shrinky Dinks. That's how she made it. The top is like an earring thing, of course. But then what you do is it's like a thin plastic foil.
Okay.
And you painted it. I don't even know if you need to use special paints or just Sharpies. But then you cut it out the shape you want. And then you put it in the oven and it shrinks. So I don't know how big that was originally, maybe 2 inches or so. Maybe I'm lying, maybe I'm making it up. But I just love that.
And
of course
Zia.
you punch a hole,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
It's the Zia sign, yeah.
Oh.
And it was, Mel made that for us when we had the New Mexico, the knitting retreat with Isabel Kramer last year.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So cool.
Yeah, it's really
that
cool.
thing.
I like it very much. This is the mark.
Yeah, so the back, I'm done with the back of my sweater, and I am making it with 5mm needles. And wait, wrong side. This is where I'm right now. Thank you, Doris.
Yes.
So it's going to be kind of like a boxy wide shape, but I think it's going to be nice because if you have a warm sweater, you don't want to be like in a sausage.
And
type.
you have to make it.
You have
like
to block it.
XXL. You have to block it, and then it's
going to be really nice.
to take it over.
What do you mean?
Put it over. So
Oh,
it's
to put it
really
on?
warm. Yeah.
To put it on to wear it. Yeah. So here, as you may see, I put markers after every pattern, repeat in case I make a mistake. I find that super helpful because if there's a mistake, then I'm going to be able to identify it easier, so much easier, if I have every pattern repeat marked. Yeah. So I'm on the second skein. Every skein has, I want to say, maybe 3.5 ounces. And this is my second one. And I have, I want to say, 2 more skeins. And I did dye up a little bit more of the fibers and started spinning it, because after starting the sweater, I got a little bit nervous and I thought I may run out of yarn, but now I don't actually think that I will. So, but it's okay. I'd rather be on the safe side than run out of yarn and then having to dye it and to spin it. Yeah, so I'm in the process of spinning that. It's a 2-ply yarn, and probably gonna get it done this week also, maybe. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think so. Yeah, I think so.
Look forward
Yeah.
to see it.
Yes, that is this, and here's another project that I've been working on, and it's living in a Zervos Witch bag, which, by the way, these are currently in the Zervos shop on Etsy. Not this one with the cats, that already sold out, but just different sections of the fabric are in the, differently arranged with the witches, and the backside is also different. And I think also the inside, I'm not so sure. I usually use flannel, but I couldn't find any flannel that I liked that would work for the Halloween stuff, so it's this. And there's spiders on this also, so yeah, fun. So, and this is where my song blanket is. Remember this? That's the project that you don't work on in summer. Yeah. The story is, I've talked about this before, but just in case you haven't been watching for long, this is the memory blanket concept that everybody knows. And what happened was that I saw on a German podcast, I saw a blanket made with yarn that was held double, and I liked that so much. I thought it gives you more warmth, and I love how the colors play together when you hold two together. So I thought I'm gonna sit down and write up the pattern for sock yarn held together. And I named the blanket Song Blanket, because the colors sing. I mean, I know should be called Sing Blanket, but no, I just like Song Blanket. And so more stitches, of course, to cast on. I decided to do the middle decrease with the knit stitch on the right side, and I use one strand of a hand-dyed yarn held together with one commercial sock yarn. And the nice thing is, because the squares are so big, you can use up really all those tiny bits, unless you're worried about too many ends to weave in. But I mean, I do have a lot of ends, but I don't really mind. At some point I'm going to catch up and weave them in between. I'm not going to wait until the very end, but I just don't get tired of combining different colors. I mean, I enjoy every single square. Love seeing how they go together. Yeah. And it's really, you get this squish factor where it's just thicker and a little bit denser. I mean, I'm always surprised about how warm the memory blankets are, because I mean, even though it's just one strand of yarn and it's so thin, but this still, I mean,
You
this
feel
is going
this
to be,
blanket.
yeah,
It's a little bit heavier,
yeah,
but you have to
weave in the ends, yes.
weave in the ends.
Yes.
Okay.
Get to it, yes,
Okay.
mom. Yes, ma'am.
We
Yes,
need the
mama.
nice
My
side.
mother will probably gonna give me a lot of grief. So mom's gonna come back for Christmas again, like she does every year, and so I think before she comes, I'm definitely gonna have to do the ends, because otherwise she's gonna give me grief. I could also say, Mom, would you weave in my hands? I'm sure she would do it.
Yeah,
Because
she
so
would like to
nice.
help you.
Oops. Yep, so this is the Song Song blanket. There was a knit along for the Song Song blanket going on in the Zia Wool's. What did you do? You just knitted? You
No, it's
forgot
right.
your-
No, it's right. So I have.
Oh, you're good. You have
Yeah,
one
yeah,
round.
yeah.
One round, yeah.
So the second round is I make now this little pattern, and now I have to knit only in the right stitches.
Yeah, it's knit stitch.
Knit
the
stitches.
Rechte Masche is knit stitch.
Okay,
Yeah.
I knit stitch. So
Knitting. Yeah.
I'm just confused what I'm doing here now.
Yes, that's what happens when you talk.
Yeah. And I talk in English, so Yeah,
even
yeah,
that. Yep,
even
you're
that.
so right. So, Song Song blanket, that was a knit along, and the knit along ended 2 months ago. Well, that didn't really happen. I mean, it was supposed to end August 31st, and I completely spaced out and I forgot. I think the reason was really that it was summer and nobody was even thinking about blankets. And so now like I said, we recorded the German episode yesterday, and we drew a winner while we were recording, and the winner was a young woman in Germany named Leonie, and so she was very excited. She already got back to me and said that she's so excited. I decided I was going to give away, I was going to give away some a mini skein set, so something that people can actually use for a blanket. So, yep, she was happy. And at first I thought I'm going to close the thread in the group, but I'm going to keep it open if people still want to show how big their blanket is, or how they like it, or just post a picture, or just chat about the blanket making. And so join the group and have a look at the Song Song blankets that are posted in the Song Song blanket thread. I would like to see you there.
okay. Good night.
What?
What? Good night in the
Oh, good night
bed.
blanket. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
So the other final project that I am working on is a new cast on. Well, I've been talking about all the stuff that we want to do, but I haven't even mentioned that Doris and I went to Taos last weekend with some dear knitting friends of ours, and we had an awesome time, because it was Taos Wool Festival, and
Oh, we had a lot of fun.
we had a lot of fun.
We loved
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah, it's super nice.
We had a sleepover. It was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
And we make things like this,
Yeah.
and sitting together, chit chat. I liked
Yeah.
it very much.
Yeah. And the festival, I thought that it was, I liked it actually better than last year. I mean, you weren't here last year. You were here. 2 years ago, I think, right?
Yeah, right. Two
Was it
or
two?
three.
2 or 3? Yeah,
I
maybe
guess
3.
three.
3 years ago.
Three.
Yeah. But I really liked it. So before we left, I thought, well, I finished my socks. I need a project that is suitable for talking. That's easy enough where I don't need to think. So not the lace shawl, not my sweater with that complicated pattern. And so I started on my special project on my Hap, on my Hansel Hap. A pattern by Gudrun Johnston, and I've talked about this so much. You know, a friend of mine gifted me a Hap stretcher. So I've been really building up towards the right project as a first Hap that will go on the stretcher. And so in May I bought Shetland fibers because the Haps are traditionally knitted on the Shetland Islands, and that's where that thing comes from with the Hap stretcher, because the women would make them for themselves. They would wear them, they would fold their squares, and women would fold them in the center along the middle from corner to corner, and then they would wear them over their shoulders, cross them in the front, and tie them in the back, and thus wear them kind of like a jacket in replacement, a little bit for warmth. And they, of course, also made these for sale. But you imagine people living in small houses. There was no space to lay out a large knitted shawl to dry when you block it. So they had to come up with a different solution, and that's where the Hap stretchers came into use. And it's so pretty. If you Google it, Hap stretcher, you will see some beautiful old pictures where Haps are leaning against these old stone houses, to drying in the winds of the island. I mean, just so, I'm such a romantic sometimes.
Oh,
Not that I live in this wonderful house. Yes, I have hot water, I have heat and whatnot, and I make a fire only because I like to see the fire and not because I need it for warmth. And probably there is nothing romantic about living on the Shetland Islands in the past, but those pictures, they look beautiful. So this is where I am right now. I keep talking and talking and don't show you what I have. So I spun that Shetland fiber. I have 2 balls of this yarn. I'm still on the first ball of yarn. And this is how it looks like so far. And
show it from the other side, then you can see better this one. This side.
it's the same.
Same?
Yeah,
Okay,
same.
okay.
The edge, it's so fabulous how this is done. You make a square.
Oops.
You make a square, you knit the square, you start on one tip, one corner, you go to a certain stitch count, and then you decrease again until you end at the other tip, and then you pick up stitches all the way around the edge, and that's what Doris meant I should show you, because you have these super nice loops that because of how it's knitted, and that's the way the pattern is written. So this picking up stitches is made super easy around the edge, because once you're done with the square, you're gonna have to knit all the way around. And I made a Hap this spring already, which was a gift for the baby of some friends, which I gifted when I was in Germany this summer. But this one is going to be for me, and the plan is to have the gray brown Shetland yarn, which, by the way, the fiber also comes from a New Mexican farm. And so this is going to be in the center, but then for the edge I'm going to use yarn that I spun from my first drum carded bats on my new Strug Instagram carder, which I love so much, by the way. So I got to keep going a little bit more, and then I can decrease, and then it's just going to fly until I'm going to have to go these large rounds around the edge. What else is new? Oh yes, we were talking about the Taos Wool Festival. Did I buy yarn? Do I have stash? Do I have a large stash? Heck yes I do. Did I buy yarn? Heck yes I did. So how can you not go to a wool festival and not buy yarn? So this is what I picked up, and I was so thrilled about finding this because it's a new to me dyer who is actually located in Albuquerque. And I'm like, why do I not know you? She said, I don't know. So at least now we're connected on Instagram. And I loved her yarns. So I picked up these two because I like yellow, and this is, well, of course, obviously, I like them both. And the plan is that I would like to use them for another reversible brioche hat. I made the Beezy a few years ago and gifted it to a friend, and so I'm gonna make either the Beezy again or another one of those 2-color brioche hats. I think that's gonna look really fabulous. The crazy side is that, okay, let me tell you, this is called Box of Broken Crayons Painted My Life. Worsted weight. And this one is called Play with the Bees. And if your memory is very good, you may remember that I have a colorway that I made a hat from.
A hat? Okay.
Yes, I think it was last winter. And in the colorway Bee Buzz, that's my color in a yellow. And it's, I should have grabbed the hat to see how close it is. I don't even know where I have it with my shop samples, I think. Yeah, but this is so pretty and it went so well. These two had to go together, right? Yeah. Okay, no regrets. No regrets. Yeah. So that was one new stash, and then Taos is kind of a little bit spinning heavy, so spinning wool heavy. It caters to spinners a lot, I think. So I got this bag full of fluff. I gotta be careful not to move it too much so it's not so noisy. I love how there are so many colors in here. Green, turquoise, gray, pink, purple. And I did not realize that these folks came from South Dakota all the way to New Mexico. I'm gonna put in the email in case you're interested in their fibers. It looks like they don't have a website. Yeah, but I can put it in email in case you want to get in touch. Yep, that was that part of New Stash. But then I got New Stash from Germany.
Mm-hmm. So I was in the Lüneburger Heide, is in the northern part of Germany, and I was at a farmer's place. They have an old race of sheep, and I brought line wool. So, and I thought, okay, Dagmar knit so much. I go to her and say, okay, I want 2 kilos of this gorgeous
4 pounds.
4 pounds of, and it
She's
was
amazing.
amazing. So my bag, my suitcase was full of this wool.
Yeah, and she did it so smartly because she thought, you know, you never know. I have brought sheep wool, but then again, the border control may be a little picky about something like that, which technically comes from a farm. So I don't know if they might have given her trouble, but Doris camouflaged the sheep wool. I mean, I say camouflage, I'm exaggerating, but she just stuffed it. She made these bags for me. Look, you guys. It's a zipper bag. I got 2 of them. This is one with a long handle so you can carry it kind of like this or over your shoulder. And I showed the other one, and then I'll let you talk again.
Yeah, I
This
want
is
to
my
have
favorite
the
fabric.
wool inside one bag. It was so much, so I have to make a second one. But still, my suitcase come to Albuquerque 4 days later, and Dagmar has the stash. And this is a farm in Germany. So they have a little shop inside. You can buy wool and you can buy soap made from the sheep milk, and you can buy, Dagmar don't want to hear it, sausages and steaks and all kind what you
Hey.
can make from.
Okay, I just gotta say this again.
Da.
Of course, we had to go to the website. So Doris wanted to show me the cute sheep and all. So we look it up. We go on the website, and I go, look at these adorable lambs. And then you scroll down, and the next picture is you see sausages and lamb's meat and whatnot. I'm like, what? How does anybody even want to buy that when you see these adorable lambs in the pictures right next to that?
But you know,
No.
they are directly in our area, bio, organic.
Yeah, organic. That's
What's
very,
that?
very cool.
Yeah, that's cool. You know where you eat your meat, so you don't have to buy it in the supermarket. I adore it. So, and you have now the wool. You
I
can
love it.
spin it or spin
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Spin it. I'm thinking about. I left a little bit out. I mean, we left one of those large chunks out here to show you, but I have a smaller piece that I'm thinking about dyeing first. I wish I could solar dye it, but it's already cooled down too much, so that's not going to work anymore. But I may try to do it in the pan on the stovetop. But what was the other thing that I meant to tell you about? Oh yeah, this stuff smells like sheep and it still has some lanolin in it, so really nice stuff. Amazing. Yeah, it really. I mean, if you have dry hands, you can literally rub the wool, and then get. It's like almost like hand lotion.
I won't say it. It's like a lotion. So if you.
Yeah. It's nice. I like that. I don't
Good.
mind that at all. It's not for everybody, so not natural. But I love it because you get
Okay.
you get a good feel of
So.
What else? I think that was. Oh
We
no,
can
I wanted to
say
show.
here.
Oh yes, of course, Doris. Oh, thank you for reminding me. So Doris is wearing one of my Pinots. And this is one that I made in a pattern that I wrote up that is also like the Song blanket, free on Ravelry. It's a very simple lace pattern, and it has beads, if you care for them, on the top edge and on the bottom edge. I had not done beads before, and I even put a little bit of a tutorial on how to do the cast off edge with beads, I think. Yes. And I love this as a garment because you can just easily throw it on when you need something just a little more coverage. And I always thought that you need kind of like something like a tank top or so under it. But yesterday Doris wore a shirt with sleeves and more clothes, and it was a neutral color, and it just looked great. I mean, it was not that you thought, oh, she should wear something different under it or so. Yeah.
And it's
great.
your wool.
Thank you, Doris, for reminding me.
Yes.
Gosh.
Oh,
Again, sugarloaf. This takes 1 skein of sugarloaf, and the yardage that you will use is about, I want to say close to 500 yards, and 1 4-ounce skein of the sugarloaf has 560 yards. It's a light fingering, a 100% superwash merino, and so really great very suitable for something like this. And it has, I just love how you can wear it like that. I brought one on the vacation, and one night I wore it a little bit like you do right now. I had it hanging down one shoulder and covering the other one, and it just, or you can kind of pull it up here and have it. I mean, you have the necklace now, it doesn't go so well, so you could kind of like have it a little more like a waterfall, a neckline here in the front. It's so pretty. I love it. And I made them in different colors already. I used to show them in the podcast when I worked on them. And also the length is just really right. Yeah. Thank you for reminding me.
okay. So you can show this German newspaper.
The magazine.
The magazine.
Magazine. It's so funny. Yeah, we were talking about all kinds of knitting stuff, and
yeah, friend is just in Germany at the Oktoberfest.
And that's right. That's how we got onto the subject.
Yeah.
Because the people in the south of Germany, in Bavaria, Munich, and that area, they wear the traditional clothing. The women, the dress they wear is called Dirndl. It's I don't even know. If you Google Oktoberfest, everybody's gonna wear that. The guys are gonna wear the lederhosen, as Americans would say, lederhose. The leather pants that just go down to the knee or even are short, and the women wear those dresses. And we looked at the pictures the other day, and there's so many new styles that I didn't know about. They used to have the white blouses with the puffy sleeves under the dresses, and the dress itself would start in the middle of the breast, and then the white blouse fabric would be also visible above, I want to say, right? But now there's so many variations. It's so interesting. I was so surprised. Lederhose, I didn't care too much for. I mean, yeah, whatever. The dirndls are so interesting. Yeah. But then I remembered my awesome magazine from, as Doris found out, 1978. And I have always thought about making this. Don't worry, I will not.
Old-fashioned jacket.
Yep. So 70s. But I just adore this. If I ever get completely bored, senseless, I promise you I will make this. And this magazine now, actually, I think they publish sewing magazines in English also. You may know that, right?
I don't know. I only know it in German.
They do sewing now.
Yeah, but no knitting anymore.
Not knitting anymore.
No.
Okay. Everything else in this thing is not so interesting. I mean, this is on the back, and then there's this funky stuff. It's a fun one. Did you see this?
Yeah. Oh,
it's so funny. It's crochet.
It's the 70s. Look, the hair. So this.
And the colors. The orange and brown. The yellow, brown. Orange, yellow, brown. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, what else? I meant to tell you about, how I talked about the rattlesnake last time, and that we never see rattlesnakes here. Yes, 12 years without a rattlesnake, then I had one in the garden, and Fiona filmed the other one, the one the other day on the street, which was the nasty one that got so aggravated by her filming. Then I went to book club, and all of a sudden I get a text message, Mom, help! What do we do? There's a rattlesnake in the driveway. So it turns out she was out with her dad, and when they came back, it was just stretched out here on the concrete in the driveway. And so they called. I know my friend Christy she's gonna be like, "Oh, you're such wussies. Just take the shovel and be done with the thing." Christy is a friend she's on a farm in Colorado, and she's so cool. All the things you do. If you don't know her, look her up on Instagram. She's Farm Life. Gosh, Christy, I'm so sorry. Now I'm messing up your name on Instagram. Farm Life. I'm gonna put it on the screen so you can look up. She's really literally farm Wonder Woman. I always call her Wonder Woman.
there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 birds, 6, 7.
The little Campbell quail out there.
Wow.
Christy would probably say that's dinner.
The babies.
Oh my gosh, how many? Sorry guys, we just got completely distracted. Yeah, but Chrissy would totally deal with rattlesnakes herself. I mean, she would not call animal control. That's what we did.
I would like to see one.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Doris, go for a hike, please. Not here anymore. I'm done. Done for the next 12 years. Seriously. That's creepy. I mean, this guy, I'm going to put the video there. This guy was laid out totally straight, and they thought that maybe it was digesting. And but when the lady from animal control came, she explained that at this time of the year they need to take up all the heat they can get. So they lay out, kind of make themselves flat and soak up the heat from the concrete. Yeah. And she was pretty quick, not like the guy who let the rattlesnake in our backyard get away. She was just, and she got it, put it in the bucket and took it away. Yeah, pretty cool. So that was the never-ending rattlesnake story. Yeah. I think now we've told you everything, all the life and knitting happenings and spinning to come. But one more thing I did want to show you what's in the shop right now. So in case you're interested, stick around because there's some fun stuff and it's always fun to see it live on camera. I am a little bit sad that I don't have the turquoise trail here. I came up with a new colorway that everybody loved, but it went to the Taos Yarn store when we went up there, and she told us later on the next day, second day, when we came by to say our goodbyes, she's like, that colorway, it went out the door in an hour. So all the skeins she had. So I definitely have to dye more of that. But there's others that I think you would probably like to see, like Chipotle. So I will rearrange my setup here, and then we will make a quick go through the yarns and the spinning fibers that are in the shop now and in the meantime.
And I say goodbye at this point, and maybe we see us in the next podcast.
Yes.
Or next year.
I hope we can make it out. I hope we
Right.
can make it work before you leave. That would be fun. I mean, even if we record the day before you leave,
Yeah.
that would be
Awesome.
then I could do the editing and all of that kind of stuff.
And then this is
When you're
ready
going. Plus
for
this
you.
one would be, you could see that because I can't wait to see that blocked. Okay, I'll be back in a minute. So I am back, and I would like to start with the Halloween yarns I have in the shop right now. I'm not scared at all. And Amy of the Periscoping Sisters, she made a pair of socks with this that turned out super cute. I did too, but I didn't bring mine. If you want to see how they knit up, check it out. She has it, I'm pretty sure, in her feed on Instagram. Inked Indigo. Hey Amy, that's hard to say. Say that fast 3 times and you damage your tongue. So all of the Halloween yarn will ship with a mini of slime. Oh my gosh, this is blinding. Yep, neon green. And I have 1 skein of Sugarloaf, a bright pink in the shop. This is a standard colorway that's called Just Pink. No speckles on that one. Then I have, oh, I love this so much. I may have to snatch one of these. This is BFL sock yarn in the colorway. The base is called Trailblazer, and the colorway is Mardi Gras. And I have on my singles base, which is called Roadrunner, a singles merino yarn. There is this bright neon pink, a Lucky Dog one of a kind yarn. This is Underdog, and this is Dancing Dog, which I lied about on the German podcast yesterday. Underdog is much more blue than Dancing Dog. This is the colorway that's going to be in the Knitting the Card game that should ship sometime right now. I'm so excited. I can't wait to show you all. And Underdog and Chipotle are both in the shop, and this is what I knitted the Drifter shawl with just recently. There's 2 skeins of Drifter in here. Then I have Arroyo on Breeze. It's a yarn that has a 10% tencel content. And this is Stairway to Heaven, also on Breeze, the tencel. And Breeze again, the Beekeeper's Daughter. Oops, there's a cat on my feet, at my feet, and she's sneezing. And everybody, thank you so much. Everybody loved Desert Flower as much as I did. So I got some really sweet feedback. I'm so excited about that because it means a lot to me. I mean, I told you I love the desert. I love where life has brought me to, that it brought me to New Mexico. And so to be able to create a colorway that captures the spirit of this beautiful state meant a lot to me. So this is Desert Flower on my merino sock yarn, which is called Sandia, after our beautiful Sandia Mountains. The rest is Zia Zen in which is my 80s superwash merino 10 cashmere and 10% nylon. And that's a 4-ounce skein that has 460 yards. And this is what's in the shop right now. Ghost Ranch. This is dyed with larger color blocks, which were specifically meant to make a shawl that's called the Strandwanderer, and which you find on Ravelry. Beautiful neutral glacier. Ever so slightly speckled, fresh, a little bit darker. A one-of-a-kind pink, lucky dog, and another pink which is called Promise. There's also the Beekeeper's Daughter on my worsted weight base in the shop right now. And this base is called Duke, after Albuquerque, Duke City. Then there is more. Zia Zen in the colorway That Gray, and that this color works almost with everything. It's like magic. Promise, or with Fresh, or with a Saturday with Mel. That is, oh gosh, that always blows me away when I see this color. I am not a brown and rusty kind of person, but this, oof. That's another one that is not typically something that I gravitate towards, but I still love it so much because it's so delicate. It's called Dollhouse. Ever so slight speckles. All of these again in Zia Zen, the cashmere base. The cashmere blend, I meant. Here, check out these two together. Stairway to Heaven and Dollhouse. Or so many combinations. This is Homestead, unless I mixed it up. Yes. Homestead came from a mistake that I made where I wanted to dye up, where is it? Pioneer Woman. Both, of course, in memory of the settlers that came here such a long time ago, and especially in honor of the women. And here is Rise Up. Which was inspired by the beautiful song Rise Up by Andra Day. And it always makes me think of a dear friend of mine, true heroes, all of that kind of women, the single moms who work to raise their kid or kids on their own. And this specific friend that I came up with this colorway for, she loves colors like this, deep purple and deep dark greens. Last but not least, Underdog on Zia Zen. Oh gosh, check it out. Underdog with that gray, or fresh, or glacier, if you like high contrast. So many possibilities. So if you're in the market for yarn, stop by the shop. I cannot even recall when I've had that much yarn in the shop, and I will leave it there until for another 4 weeks, and then I'm going to take a short break because I'm having a studio tour open house here at home. If you are local, please do come by and have a cookie and have some hot cider with me, and usually there's a lot of friends. There will be also my friend Laura, who's a super talented rug hooker who always offers her makings, as well as for the first time, I will share with the space with a potter, a woman who's local. Her name is Sarah, and she does such amazing work, and many of her pieces she decorates with the Zia sign, the Zia symbol, which I just love. And so I'm super excited that she's going to come and be here for the studio tour, which will happen. I'm going to tell you more soon about that soon. I hope I'm not telling you the wrong date, but I'm thinking it's November 16th. If that's a Saturday, then I got it right. It's all day, usually from 10 to 5. I hope to see you if you're local. And yes. Oh no. Oh my goodness. I did want to show you the spinning fiber. So if you are a spinner, I have some nice stuff in the shop right now. A lot of it is superwash merino tencel, which I've worked with for the first time, and I loved dyeing all of those braids. And I solar dyed all of these, and yes, it's a 60/40 and it's 4 ounces. And my colors on the fiber, I dye a non-repeatable colorway. Well, I dye them one time. Okay, so if you like something, go and see if it's still in the shop. So I'm going to start with the 60/40 tencel. I'm going to do this.
We thought he might have been like digesting food. That's why he wasn't moving.